Hey everybody, welcome back to Ravenstead. It's time for another build. Going to continue with the Hidden Valley. We've got tile number 11. And just matching up to the neighboring tile. We use a hot wire cutter here to cut off that first elevation. I'm going to use a craft knife throughout the video. Don't worry, I don't cut myself. Just going to make some fine cuts here to match up the two pieces. And then we'll get started on that upper level. Good match. And we'll go in with the hot wire cutter and just start going uphill. Just trimming away what I don't want. You could do all of this with a craft knife. You don't have to use a hot wire cutter. Now we're going to get all these pieces textured up. So I've got a kind of a curve there to the rocky texture of that upper level, and I want it to kind of gently transition into vertical striations in the rock. So I'm just kind of keeping consistency from one tile to another. I use up a little balled up aluminum foil here to texture out all the factory surfaces. I want to leave those factory surfaces where I'm going to be gluing the two pieces together and get a better bond that way. You could use PVA glue or construction adhesive for this. That works well. I like the hot glue. Hot glue will kind of push the two pieces away, so you kind of have to hold them for a little bit. But the working time is pretty quick, so you got to get everything lined up the way you want it. Put a couple of deck screws into this piece, give it a little added weight. There we go. Make sure they're right under the surface. We're going to be building a catwalk on this tile, so I'm texturing up some foam strips here with a brass brush. Gives a nice wood grain appearance. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to just keep this catwalk going uphill as we go through the next 5 tiles to finish out the whole valley. So I wanted this corner of the whole build to kind of just keep going uphill. I'll frame out the catwalk, putting in some cross pieces here. We'll just build this out. Checking for level, make sure those things are right in there where they want to be. And you could use real wood for this. I just like to use the foam. It just gives me a consistent texture throughout the build. And we'll hot glue those planks down. So I kind of imagine this leading up to some kind of a quarry on the hillside, and you know, they're using wheelbarrows to run up and down this catwalk a long time ago. Everything's kind of grungy and rotten in this valley, unused. We got that abandoned mine in one of the first few tiles that we made. I wish somebody had reminded me to black bomb the area I was going to build that catwalk, but I got excited and I love this hobby, so when something's going the way I want it, I just kind of push forward. But that's alright. It just took a little time to get that painted out. No worries. So with the dry brushing, I wanted to kind of show you how just absolutely sloppy I am. I get paint on everything. That light gray is just kind of hitting the wooden areas, and then this brown wood color is hitting the rocks. So I kind of try and blend all the palette over the piece so you can see where I've kind of dry brushed in areas of color all over. But don't let it worry you. Just kind of let go and just get in there and have fun. A little bit of green undertones here. Just building up those shadows, building up those colors. And I'll finish it off here with a really light tan. And you kind of see it just starts to pull it all together. So no big worries about getting splotches of paint here and there. I mean, if you want to be super accurate, go for it. I like the slapdash approach here. Just highlighting the edges, blending that out. And we'll get some washes on this part. That'll help kind of blend it all together. So First a little burnt umber acrylic ink mixed with water, and I'll just brush that on the whole piece, top to bottom. I put quite a bit of it on there, and that really helps to kind of mute it down. A little bit of bright green mixed with water. I'm using this wet on wet technique, so I just kind of add it onto the piece and let it blend. A little bit of there. That's probably going to be our rotten plank. A little Vallejo rust wash. Sprinkle that on. And here again, I'm using my actual terrain as a palette, so I can just borrow from thicker areas and spread it around till I get it where I want it. Once this is dry, we'll start to get into the flocking. Paint on some PVA glue, and I'll use some fine flocking first. It's a Woodland Scenics fine flocking. I'm kind of leaving gaps here and there in the glue, as I want to build up the textures with the flocking to match all the other tiles that I've been working on. So get a nice good heavy coat on there, knock off the excess, and then we'll go on with the next texture. So dabbing in some PVA glue in all the spots that are bare. And this is our homemade mixture of preserved moss and yellow flower flocking. And then after that, we'll put on a little bit of watered down PVA glue, about 50-50. And then sprinkle on some medium flocking, another Woodland Scenics product. Nice heavy coat there, and I give it a little gentle pat just to kind of set it in. And you can see that glue shining through. It's PVA glue, so it will dry clear, but I like to kind of blend it in with a little bit of that fine flocking. Let's get some bushes in here. We can hide some of our mistakes, like globs of hot glue and weird looking seams, and there was a blob of glue right there on those timbers, so I thought, we'll just put a little bush right in here. You gotta spend the time to pick off the little glue strings, but I like the hot glue, as I'm able to move through the build pretty quickly. Well, there's our rotten plank. It's looking good. Jam a little bit of preserved lichen in there. Give us some color difference and texture. Don't forget about the little hidden areas. They need some attention too. I got it next to its neighbor tile. Make sure we get the foliage to kind of match up. So I'll get this last piece on here, and then I'll give you a closer look. Let me spin it for you. There it is. Tile number 11 of 16 eventually. You can kind of see where the shadows really build behind all the timbers, because I wasn't able to get a lot of dry brushing color in there. I think that worked out pretty well. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. It's been great chatting with you. Tell me what you think of the build. Check out my Patreon page if you get the chance. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.